That was literally the saddest day in my life. So that day I decided, okay, I'm going to run. Consistency. You have to love it. Be consistent. Show up.
Welcome back to Meet the Team. We are your Aravaipa Racing Team managers. I'm Heidi Allan, and
I'm Bryce Brooks.
And we're here today with Stella Springer, coming from California, and we're here to chat with her all things running and kind of get to know her a little bit better. So thank you for joining us today, Stella.
Hi, guys. Glad to be here.
Yeah, we're happy to have you. We kind of just want to start off by getting to know you a little bit better. So if you want to give us a little introduction on your background and how you got into trail running.
Yeah, sure. So I'm in my office right now. I literally just have 30 minutes talking to you guys, but this is so great. I work for Bank of America in the operation area, but that's really my day job. And how do I get into running? So 9 years ago, 2016, back then, I had two young girls. Back then, they were 5 years old, 3 years old. And I just started to have a little bit my own time. And I always wanted to run marathon. Like even when I was in my 20s, I wasn't a runner, but I just admire those runners and who finish the half marathon and marathon distance. Fast forward, I was already 45 years old at the time. I just never really got into it. I did not have time. Work is busy, life in the way. But that year, one of my friends, his 4 years old son passed away from cancer. So I went to the funeral. That was literally the saddest day in my life. I was crying. So that day I decided, okay, I'm going to run. My friend and his wife set up a foundation after their son's passing. So I decided to run my first marathon to raise money for their foundation. That's really how I started. That was beginning of February 2016, just past my birthday. And I started running, training. And in my mind, I'm going to finish a marathon this year. So I look at the calendar. The first one I wanted to do was mountain to beach, but it was sold out. So I signed up for San Diego Rock and Roll. I think that was the first week in June. So I started running literally from zero. And then I hopped on the marathon within 4 months. 4 months.
Wow.
That's how I started. And I finished the race 3:55, I believe. I just had so much fun. It hurt me the last few miles, but I had so much fun after the race. I decided, oh, I'm gonna do it again. So that's how everything started. And then the first 3 years until 2019, I basically just run marathons, one after the other. And then pandemic hit. My last road marathon was 2019 CIM, and then pandemic hit. I guess from there, I just got so much time. So everybody, we basically we work from home. I think everybody was sent home, and I did not need to drive my kids all over the place to their activities, and I did not have to commute to the office. So I got all the time. I increased my running, like from before, like 40, 50 miles a week during pandemic, even though there's no race. I love running. I increased my mileage to 100 miles a week, almost week after week after week. And then when the races all came back, I started hopping on the races, and I started doing 100K, 100 miles, and then 12 hours, and then jumped into the 24 hours in 2021. Yeah, that's how everything started. I mean, I had compared to a lot of my running friends, I think I'm like running years, I'm still fresh. I have
Mm-hmm.
fresh knees. I don't have that many injuries to deal with. I think that plays a big role.
What about running made you fall in love with it?
Um, I like So I enjoyed the training part. So during my like the first few years, I was just running marathons, and I built my own. I did a lot of reading and research, and I actually developed my own training schedule. So every race I would PR. Literally every single marathon I PR'd. So I started my first marathon, I think it was 3:55, and then by 2019, I dropped my time to 3:12.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I love the whole process, and then the celebration is you have the race and then you PR. It just you feel like all the hard work paid off,
Yeah, totally.
and yeah, and also I think I joined a running club. I'm still part of the club locally here, New Basin Blue, and that's where I joined some group runs and met so many friends. I started run with the so many friends at the beginning, so I really enjoyed those time.
For sure. Yeah, the community
Yeah,
aspect is such a big part of running. And I know you guys have a pretty cool community out there in California.
we have yes, we have huge, so many different running groups and clubs and you just like I go do trail runnings and I don't do that much road anymore, but um anywhere I would bump into friends. It just yeah.
Yep. Yep.
That's
Um,
awesome.
I did a little bit of a deep dive on your Ultra sign up, and I wanted to ask a couple questions about some events that I noticed on there. So I
Okay.
saw your first Ultra, according to Ultra sign up, was the Sean O'Brien
Yes.
in 2017. And I was just
Yes, that
curious.
was a 50K.
Yes.
I did not consider 50K as ultra, but yes, it's longer than
Yeah.
marathon. Yeah.
Yeah. So how was that day for you? The first time you went that 50K distance.
That day I went with a bunch of my girlfriends. We just um they started doing 50K trail races way before me, and I learned all those trail runnings from them, and they dragged me into that race. And also I signed up the race director. Kira is our friend, and I joined her running group before the race. So can you guys hear me? And something's like not, can you see me
We
Yeah,
correctly?
could
you
see.
just flipped a little bit, but
Okay, yeah. So yeah, that race really just the I think I joined the party. We can say that, and it was hard. It was really hard. Transitioning from road flat road to the that race has a lot of vert. Straight up 6 miles climb and then rolling hills and then you climb back. It wrecked me big time, and but it was also that day it was raining and so much mud and I fell many times. So just you go up and down just muddy and you slip and you fell. No, yeah, no injuries, no scraped knees, but I was covered with mud. Yeah, but we all had so much fun.
It's so cool.
that's awesome.
Yeah, it sounds like a
Yeah,
tough day, but sometimes those are like the most memorable ones.
I know. Yeah, for
And
sure.
then another event I saw in here was your first time, according to Ultra Sign Up, hitting the 100-mile mark, and that was at Beyond Limits Running. And so with it's what I understand, it's almost like an adult camp for kids, or sorry, like a summer camp for adults. It's Ken Rubley puts that on.
Yes. Was that my first 100 mile? That was not my first 100 mile. I think
Oh,
my
okay.
first 100 mile was uh Kodiak.
Oh,
in Big
okay.
Bear.
Right here.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but um, the 24-hour, that the Beyond Limit, I did 24 hours. That was so 2020 October, I did 12 hours race in Las Vegas. That was also cancer race. 12 hours was the longest distance. I went into that race. I won the whole thing. I did not know I could run 12 hours. I just went in and I won the whole thing. I did 71 miles, maybe
Yeah,
more.
right on. Uh-huh.
Yeah. So after that race, I was very interested in the format. That was the first time flat loop around it. So I look at cancer race. I saw the Beyond Limit 24 hours. I want to give it a try. So I went, and it was hard. It was my first 24 hours. I continued running for 21 hours and I quit. Because it not because I couldn't move, it was too cold. I did not prepare.
Oh.
It was in like high desert. I did not prepare, like I did not have thick enough jacket. I remembered I couldn't feel my fingers, and it was just too much.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I quit. But at that point, I think the second girl maybe 20 miles behind me. I'm like, I won already. I'm
You had a
done.
big lead.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, I see you've done actually quite a few fixed time events, like Desert Solstice.
3 times.
Yeah, 3
right?
times.
Yes.
You've done Nanny Goat. Let's see what else. 6 Days in the Dome. And then also Jackpot. Would you say that you are drawn more to these fixed time looped races?
Yes and no. So I did Nanny Goat because almost around I signed up for San Diego 100 that year. Which year was that? 2021. And the race was canceled a few weeks. I would say within a month before the race day. I was already put all the miles in and the training was done. So I wanted to do a long race. And around that time, Nanny Gold was the only race available. So I jumped into Nanny Gold. That was the only reason. And that Nanny Gold was a 1 mile loop format. And then I did 24 hours. I think I hit 126, somewhere there. I qualified the B standard for Desert Solstice. So basically, it was really just a random chance. I went into that race and then got qualified, and then I did Desert Solstice that year. But then my first Desert Solstice, I placed second. I think Marisa won. I was second. Yeah, I was second. Mandy Holmes third. And I broke 3 national age group records. I had no idea. And then at the same time, I qualified for the national team for that.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's all happened. Obviously, next year, I did more just to secure my team position. That was really the reason. Yeah.
And what year were you on the world?
Team US
Yeah.
2023.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. And then, yeah, like, so kind of leading up into it, though, you did do Jackpot this past February, just a couple weeks ago. So kind of tell us a little bit about how that was. We know that the weather was not the greatest. So
A little windy.
yeah.
Yeah, just a little bit. So the Jackpot, I wanted to do the Jackpot since 2021 because that was back then. That was also Ken's race. I think Ken sold the race to Aravaipa 2 years ago. But anyway, so I wanted to do it. But then because I started doing Desert Solstice, in between, they're only like 2 months.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
7 to 8 weeks, basically. So last year I couldn't do it also because the world championship was December. Coming back, I was just wrecked and recovered. Took such a long time. I couldn't do it. The past 3 years, I couldn't do it because of desert solstice. And then this time, okay, I look at the national age group record for my age group is 16:04, and I feel like it was within range. I could break it. But you look at, there are not that many flat road 100-mile races out there for me to do. So this time I do want to break the record. That was my goal. I signed up for this race also because I'm part of the team and I got the complimentary. So after the desert solstice, I was like, give it a try. So after desert solstice, I took 2 weeks completely off just to recover. It was a really hard effort. I PR'd, and I mean, I'm getting older, but I think the experience kicked in, helped me to move along to continue the PR. But it's still physically, I felt just drained so much. And then I did not really start training for Jackpot until second week in January. I just did not feel well. I couldn't pull myself together until January. And then my training cycle, literally 3 weeks training and then 1 week taper and then race week.
Yeah.
Even like I could not make decision whether I should even toe the start line until 2 weeks ago, 2 weeks before the race. I'm like, I would just go see what happens.
Yeah.
So I went. Even the night before, I was so nervous because I was undertrained mentally. I was not ready to do another tough 100-mile yet. But when the race started, that's how like I messed up my pacing because the nerves and the excitement and also the whole field was just moving so fast. I just went with the flow. I think I really just started to calm down, get into my own zone after 30, 40 some miles. I think that's when I feel like, okay, I'm in the race. I feel good. I can do this. Yeah.
Did you have crew out there?
Yes, I have a crew. Yes. And shout out to my crew. My friend Roberto Romero, he crewed me. Yes. I mean, the right on point, like the hydrations, and I also the gels, the food I'm using. So yeah, no, really good job.
Yeah,
I did not. I no, yeah, almost no hiccups. So
That's wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we were just talking with Nathan Brown too, right before this, your teammate. And he said that he talked to you during Jackpot, and he said that you said, "I don't let my mind tell me that I'm tired." And so I was just kind of wondering if that was like your mantra for Jackpot.
I keep, so this time specifically, because I was also using a new pairs of shoes, my mantra was, I just keep telling myself, keep feet light. I can do this. So basically just over and over again. My feet hurt really bad after 50 some miles. I was using the Hoka Rocket X2. I literally got the shoes 3 weeks before the race. I just decided to give it a try. First time ever I use carbon plate shoes in an ultra race.
Did you like them?
I do. I would say I tell everyone probably half of my PR. I PR'd by 14 minutes ish. I think the shoe will contribute at least a half of it.
That's
I
awesome.
think. Yeah.
Yeah.
I really like the shoes, but my feet hurt really bad.
So
Also, yeah, the shoes are new. Yeah, no, I mean, I think I can just later in the race, I know everybody is tired. Everybody sort of slowing down. And I mean, I just push myself to keep going.
Yep.
That's the only way.
So you cross the finish line, 15 hours, 29 minutes, and you break the tape. And you are the 2025 USATF 100-mile road national champion. What was that feeling like?
Just a race. I got lucky to win. Seriously.
Yeah.
I got lucky to win because Devin Yanko dropped out, and then Ashley did not show because she had I think she did the double Black Canyon the week prior. And then I mean, that day was also really, really rough. I mean, the wind is really hard pacing wise. So you want to keep your pace. When you run into the headwind, then it drains your effort. And if you want to keep the effort consistent, then you slow down. So you can't win.
Right.
I think that probably, the wind made a lot of other runners. I mean, it's just challenging day.
I mean, I think
really
it
shows.
Speaks to your mental toughness, to be honest. Like, that day is not a day where people are going out to break records necessarily with the conditions. And it's just, I mean, it's just a race. Like, it's not a time trial. Like, you just give what the day will give you and keep pushing through, right?
Yeah.
So
I go to races. I don't really look at the competition because that's out of my control. I do my own thing.
Yep.
Like this race, I went in, I want to do sub 16, and I hit my goal. I'm happy. Winning, it just,
right. You have goals for yourself.
Yeah.
Whatever follows.
Well, awesome.
Yeah. I've got a couple of rapid fire questions for you if you're interested. So just, really fast. What is your go-to post race or run meal?
Nothing. I can't eat. I can't eat after race.
All right. What's your go-to race fuel when you're running them?
During the race or before the race?
During the race.
Before the race. Okay. So the night before, I like noodles. Not spaghetti noodles, but Asian noodles, like the Japanese, like ramen noodles. And Thai noodles. I love those.
And what do you do? Like gels during a race, or?
I do gels. Yes, I do gels. At the beginning, I try to do gels every 30 minutes as long as I can manage. But then later in the race, I would just take in whatever my tummy allows.
If you could only listen to one song every time you ran, what song would you pick?
I don't listen to songs.
No music.
No music.
Yeah, you got to be really comfortable being in your own head when you run. Last question. What's one piece of advice that you would give to someone who is interested in getting into running?
Consistency. You don't have to be that fast. Just training wise, be consistent. You have to love it. If you just don't even like running, then forget it, right? But if you love running, be consistent. Show up. I think that's really important to me.
Yep.
Yeah. Very, very consistent with Nathan Brown said the same thing. You gotta love it. You gotta love the sport.
You gotta love it. Yeah. I mean, I love it. I mean, I get injured from time to time. There are pains, and in those ultra races, later in the race, everywhere hurts. It's so bad, but you gotta love it. We choose to do those races.
That's right.
Yeah.